Hey listeners, this is not David Hensley, the creative director of Long Wolf Productions. I don't know, we tied him up and put him in a corner for this one. We have decided that it's just going to be us solo this week for this episode. I am Chris Barnes.
And I am David Two Dogs Hayes.
Yeah!
Oh,
no soothing NPR intro for you this week.
No. David, the producer, Hensley, is not going to be with us, and we're just kind of running roughshod here.
Well, he might. I wouldn't put it past him to dub in his own thoughts, but since we can't counter him.
Well, welcome to Rock Hill, South Carolina's only premier wrestling pay-per-view review podcast. This is a work. I am your host, David Two Dogs Hayes, and alongside me is my tag partner and today my producer, Chris, the Fashion Plate Barnes, sir.
Are we still pushing that? All right.
Oh, yeah, we're going to push that. We're not getting off this train.
Oh, Lordy.
Well.
This is like that episode of Nitro where the NWO took over.
Yeah. Except that was good. I came in the Tuesday after that, or the Monday after that happened, and I said, wow, guys, I'm a Hulkamaniac. And I wish we had something that good going on. But
Dave wouldn't put on the T-shirt, so we kicked him out.
We are doing Hell in a Cell now. For those of you that don't know, it didn't go well. I'm angry about it. I've had a week and a half to calm down.
He's not.
I'm a little better.
I've been waiting to do this since I heard.
I want to preface before we start. I want to say this: I'm not mad at any of the wrestlers out there.
Absolutely not.
I respect every single person on that roster. There are some people that I do not like being there, but Bobby Lashley. But other than that, I respect everybody in that locker room. Having said that, let's get this thing started. And we're not even going to start off good. The kickoff show starts us out with Natalya versus Lacey Evans. And I don't know if you heard this, but this is going to be the last time these two ever square off, Barnes. They said that like 3 times.
Now, I know that's a lie, but continue.
Yes, it is. They had a shit match.
It was slow. I can't, okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't a long match, but the pacing was sluggish.
The one thing that I've figured out about Natalya, she really is the most technical, most technically sound female wrestler on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is she is not her uncle who proclaimed himself as the excellence of execution. And this is where her fault is. Everything she does looks weak. And it has for a while, and it's taken me a bit to figure that out. I just came to that conclusion watching Hell in the Cell. It's the execution of her transitions. It's slow and it looks weak, and That's her biggest issue.
Well, Lacey Evans was only just like keeping pace with her too, because like she wasn't really pushing it to go any faster.
No, she was, and you usually see a lot better out of Lacey. But no, I think Lacey, her problem is she will go to the level of whoever her opponent is instead of trying to bring them up.
I was just thinking that. It's just, it seems like she'll just go with whatever energy is just already happening.
Yeah, and I've known several wrestlers that will do that, and it really brings down the match, and it did in this case. This was just a bad match. It was quick, but it felt like it took forever. Finally, Natalya goes over, taps out Lacey Evans. But then, after the match, Michael Cole announces there will be a last woman standing match tomorrow on Monday Night Raw.
They must have been that upset with how it looked.
You know what we could have done? We could have done a last woman standing that night.
Well, no, they had more recap to get through before the show started.
That's true. Nothing good came out of this match. I gave it a 1.5 Meltzer, and again, I was generous, I think.
Just like the epitome of the mood of this match was Natalya coming to the ring and posing for that selfie with that kid. And that kid taking entirely too long to do it.
Yeah.
He was like, he just wanted to get it just right. And it's just like, come on, kid. She's got to get to the ring.
So you can have this awful match. That's it's almost it's almost a look into the future about what's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we start out the show with Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks Hell in the Cell match. Now, this is getting fairly controversial, as half the people liked this match, half the people hated this match.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of split down the middle. I like the match.
I sat down. See, the fun thing about watching it with a group is watching people, if they're into it, if they're not, what they're liking about it, what they're not. I sat and watched this by myself, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It was a good match. They went hard.
It was creative.
It was. Incredibly so.
We did. Now, admittedly, some of their creations were a little silly. We took a couple of kendo sticks. We made a deer stand out of the.
Well, I guess the idea was, even though it was never going to come to fruition, was Sasha was going to try and like slam her into that or flip her into that, something like that.
Yeah.
But what Becky did was she took a chair, set it on top, got Sasha on top of it, and drop kicked the hell out of her.
Now, it was a beautiful drop kick.
It looked great.
And she took a hard fall on it. Now,
it was a good payoff because I was watching Sasha and what are you doing?
Yeah. She's just going to hang out, looking for deer.
I was fine with how it ended because I'm always a fan of Looney Tunes bullshit. So
yeah, right. I can't say anything bad about this match. It was a little silly at times. Yeah. Sure, absolutely.
I did enjoy Sasha trying to create her own ECW incident.
Refresh my memory.
That was the end where she started tossing all the chairs in.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were talking about that night. Yeah, she tried. Sasha Banks, she looked better than she's looked in a long time.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate this match at all. In fact, I gave it 4 Meltzers.
I agree.
Strong way to open.
Strong showing for both of them, and I thought the ending was particularly good, where with surrounded by the chairs, where Becky had her locked in.
Yes.
She's reaching for a chair. She's desperately trying to use the chair, like as she had been wielding it previously.
Yeah.
Grabbing onto Becky, grabbing the chair, and then finally she taps out on the chair.
Yeah. Perfect go home. Yeah, I liked it. 4 Meltzers on that one. Let's move into our tag match.
Oh my God, this match.
I didn't hate this either, guys. Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns
I love this match.
versus Rowan and Harper.
This was so good.
Yeah, the Bashams are back. Not the Bashams, the Bludgeons.
The Bludgeons, yes.
Yeah, the show of a lot of power here. Roman looked great.
He looked great. Everybody was like coming out swinging.
Yeah, it's
The spot, I can't even remember half the spots I saw. They did so many all over the place.
and they were good.
They were so
and
Well timed, well executed.
everything. And Daniel Bryan is so awesome, and he just flows. He just kind of flutters around the
Yeah.
ring. He's so good. And we oh my God, was it Roman was the one that got the pin,
Yes.
and so they got the pin, and he goes to
Oh yes, this was actually really funny.
he goes to shake Daniel Bryan's hand. He smacks it away.
No,
And,
he moves his hand away.
oh yeah, that's what it was.
Like a too slow kind of move.
Yeah.
And everyone thought, oh, he's gonna be a dick again.
And we stopped. We took a little pause there. Brian opens up his arms, and we're going to hug it out.
They hugged it out. And then they shook hands, and it was actually really nice.
It was. And you could see Roman's breaking character
Yeah.
because of it. You can see him over there laughing. But yeah, it was really good. I love this match too, man. I always love a good tornado tag.
Oh, yeah.
You can't. Tough to beat that. They're always exciting. 3.5 Meltzers, man, coming strong.
Yeah, a good tornado tag is a good mix of chaos and order, because it's like you're basically allowed to go nuts with everybody going at the same time, but you still have to find a way to end it properly in the ring.
Right, and well executed. Now, guys, so far this has been a damn fun pay-per-view.
Yeah,
we're enjoying ourselves.
The kickoff was meh, but I mean they came out strong. They came out swinging.
Absolutely. Now we got to slow things down for our popcorn match, and we're gonna do Randy Orton versus Ali.
The human light bright, yes.
Yeah. I guess Orton's just getting old, man. He's either that or he just doesn't care anymore. I will tell you this: I have heard rumors that I think his contract is up in March, and they have offered him an extension, and he didn't take it. And then they came to him with a brand new contract with little cherry on top, and he still didn't take it. Now, we don't know anything else other than that.
I feel like honestly, at this point, I don't know that he'd go to AEW. I don't think that's happening. I think he's just ready to slide into that Legends contract.
I would too. I don't know that I would go to AEW, because what are you going to do over there? It's all these kids are, they're between.
Well, the entire point of him going over there would be to put over younger talent.
Right. The entire roster is 24 and lower, right. So it's how good are you actually going to do there? Ali looked all right. He didn't look as good as he usually does. This was also a match that was unannounced.
Really?
Yeah. They only announced I believe 4 matches for this entire pay-per-view.
Oh wow.
And
there were 9 total, including the kickoff.
Right.
So it announced less than half of them.
Mm-hmm. When they did this whole thing that they usually do on Raw, Ali comes out when Orton's doing an interview, or I think I may have got that backwards, and he goes, and he said, and he said, well, I settled this in the ring, and he said, you took my gerb, and then there they go down to the ring, and that's what happened.
God's honest truth.
So Randy Orton over Ali, nothing special about this match. It wasn't a bad match. It just wasn't great. It'll do for a Raw.
I think the point was Randy gets the win, but it helps raise Ali's profile, probably.
Right. Yeah.
That he's not quite ready to beat the big guys yet, but he's getting there.
Yeah. We got to get him some mic work because he's. I'll be honest, I know there's not too many people that are good on the mic anymore. But I think that's because they've just got a script that's handed to them at some point in the day, and they got to memorize it and try to put a little pizzazz on it.
Don't worry, he'll get more time to shine in Crown Jewel.
We'll talk about that too.
Ali will return in Crown Jewel.
So 2 Meltzers for that one. Moving on down the line, we have the Kabuki Warriors versus Bliss Cross Applesauce.
This was a fun match.
I loved it.
It was really good.
I
did not know at this point that Asuka and Kairi were heels.
Well, neither did anybody else, Chris.
No. Oh, no, they still love them because they're adorable.
Yeah.
But Kairi pulled... Oh, what was it? She pulled a... Oh, that was the... Oh, that's right, yeah. She went for the handshake with Nikki Cross.
Right.
And just completely pulled her into the corner.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh, they're heels now. Okay.
And, yeah. And then we ended up with the mist in the face.
Mm-hmm.
The green mist.
I miss that so much.
Yes. I'm a fan.
I love it every time.
I love the green mist, which I believe...
I only wish Nikki Cross had played it up a little more, being like, oh, God, I think I'm blind, you know?
Yeah, that's my thing. But we're in a new time where we don't have to talk about
That's absolutely what I would have
done. The colors and the properties of the mist. The green mist causes blindness.
Yes. There are other mists you can use that cause other effects.
I want to say the red mist causes paralysis or something like that.
That might be the black one.
No, the black one is death. The black mist. It's rarely broken out.
Right.
It's not death, but it's something horrible.
You're basically in a coma.
Yeah. And my
red is, I think you're right. Red is paralysis, and there's at least one more, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there's the blue mist.
Because Japan
puts you to sleep.
Because Japan was like, we got to turn this into an RPG as much as possible.
Exactly. So you can level up, and you can get the blue mist, or the green mist, or the red mist, and yeah. No, this was a fun match. Wasn't stellar. Had a few slow moments in it. But I gave it a 2.5 Meltzer.
Yeah.
And we have new tag team champions.
Because, the blatant cheating and whatnot.
Right. And they're heel. So that was weird, but I'm okay with it.
It's funny to me how no one can ever make the connection between when the misting happens, because it's like, oh, they've got a face full of green junk now, and it's just flowing out of Asuka's name.
Asuka.
Out of Asuka's mouth, just like like she swirled a bunch of jelly in her mouth.
But I didn't see it. Rules are rules. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, the ref can only the ref can only rule on what he sees with his own 2 eyes.
So we're gonna move on here to another fun match. This is a 6-man tag team match. This is the Viking Raiders and Braun Strowman. How much meat do you need on one side of the ring?
Oh, some chonkers were on this.
versus the OC.
Oh my God.
Again, another fun match. We really got to showcase the Viking Raiders.
It was. And also, I haven't really seen much of the Viking Raiders, but they reminded me of something I missed seeing, and that was gimmick guys wearing proper gimmick outfits.
Right.
They had the Viking like head straps.
Yeah.
The kind of the I don't know what to call those pants, like the.
It's not really a loincloth. It's
No.
more of a I don't know what you call it.
Nope. And they were decorated all around their bodies in Viking and Norse sigils.
Yeah. And which Amy Scheide, a friend of the podcast, ruined that for me a couple of months ago. She came out. She came over to the house. I was watching Raw. Viking Raiders were on, and she goes, "Are these guys supposed to be Vikings?" And yeah. It says Viking Raiders right there. And hey, did you know that Vikings never wore horns on their helmets? And I'm like,
oh right, yeah, that is a thing.
Yeah.
Well, if they use them in portrayals, it's for comedic purposes usually. There's certain rules to how you portray them.
Yeah. And then she made other comments about, as I was saying, their tattoos. That doesn't indicate Vikings. That's more of an Egyptian thing. And I was like,
now at this point you said, "Shut up, nerd."
Yeah, you want to? I mean, damn it! This is wrestling. We're not accurate here.
It's always a caricature of what pop culture thinks it is.
Right.
So
I want these guys to be Hagar the Horrible, and damn it, that's what they are.
Which one's Lucky Eddie? That's right. I know the other primary character in Hagar the Horrible.
I forgot about Lucky Eddie. Oh my God. Okay. So now,
well, and maybe we don't need another Eric so much as one of them's name, but what's the other one called? It's
Eric and Ivar.
Ivar, that's it.
He's the big one that does cartwheels and ridiculous things that a 400-pound man should never do.
I've never seen that before.
Oh, stick around. Well, he did it that night.
No, I was kidding. I immediately thought of A, Heavy Machinery, and B, Bam Bam Bigelow. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much fun that happened in this match. If you want to see just as JR would put it, a slobber knocker, just check this match out. This is a lot of fun. I gave this thing 3.5 Meltzers. Could have gone to 4 on that. Now things are gonna take a turn.
It's true, they are.
So we have Chad Gable versus King Baron Corbin.
No, wait a minute. I don't think Chad's going by Chad anymore.
Well,
because at the beginning of the match, in all his wit, King Corbin declared Chad Shorty Gable.
Yeah, Shorty Gable.
All right.
Because if that doesn't leave your side splitting,
I feel like Chad should have. Chad was doing his best to be like, get in the ring. He's looking hard and tough, and he should have been looking at him, going, just rolling his eyes, and
that's what I would.
It's like, yeah, sure, Shorty, come on.
Yeah, yeah. That I feel like that's what I would have wanted to do. It was Shorty Gable, great. That's hilarious.
It's like, what are we in 8th grade again? Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, and that was I heard that was a last minute thing, and that was none other than our benefactor Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
No shit. That seems about his level of humor.
Yeah. He said, yeah, we're going to call you Shorty Gable.
That explains the post-match interview where he's like, yeah, go ahead and call me Shorty. I don't care.
Well, it's after the match.
Yeah.
The winner of this match, Shorty Gable. And
and the announcers called the commentators called it out, actually, which I appreciated.
It was on the marquee. It was the post interview. Shorty, can I talk to you for a minute?
It's like, we're not going to address him as former tag team champion Chad Gable.
No. That's whatever. That's
I mean, comparatively, I would be kind of chipper too because of all the ideas that McMahon could foist upon you. Shorty is not on the less painful end.
That's a good point. He did give Perry Saturn a mop.
Yes, he just wants to call you Shorty. It's like, consider yourself blessed.
Yeah. Now,
the match itself, which we've been avoiding talking about.
Yeah, it was not good.
I kind of tuned out.
It was slow.
I kind of got on my phone and got distracted.
Yeah, it was slow. There were spots that were blown. Gable, who's a solid technical wrestler, did not look good. Corbin, I am coming around to Baron Corbin. But I just can't. This match was just bad. Well, Shorty Gable goes over.
Don't know where Chad went. He
Yeah.
I will say about Corbin, he perfectly fits the role of heel who thinks he's the shit, and but also will get routinely embarrassed.
Yeah,
appropriately. He is, like I mentioned, like 8th grade. He is like the villain in like a middle school, high school movie who gets what's coming to him.
Yeah. He gets punched into mush,
pushing Gable into a locker, going, "Nerd, get out of here."
Yeah. This match was awful.
It was not good.
I hated this match. I hated the fact that we were even doing this match.
I only really appreciate the fact that becoming King of the Ring has caused Corbin to actually switch up his attire, so it looks more wrestler-like again.
So he got a tank top and a cape.
Yeah, that's it. Also, it changed his theme up
slightly,
so I think it sounds better.
It's
not quite as drastic a change as when Booker T was King of the Ring.
It's the same song. They just put in a little. They just put in a little fanfare afterwards. It's Asuka and Kairi saying they just mashed their two songs together, and
that's true, because at some point when Asuka's theme just suddenly stops playing and then Kairi's kicks in.
Yeah, we got this huge budget from USA and Fox,
and you've got talented guys who make themes like C. Foster or whatever they're called, who took over for Jim Johnson. They do just as good a work as he did.
Yeah, well, this is the best we can do. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, this match was terrible. I hated it. 0 Meltzers.
I didn't hate it. There was just nothing for me to like, really.
Yeah. No, this match, it didn't go anywhere. It was slow. And Chad / Shorty wins, and nobody cares. And then we did the same thing on Raw Monday. Shorty versus Corbin again, and then we're just gonna keep on pushing that feud. That's still going on today, and here we are a week and a half later. Garbage, absolute garbage.
I got a good feeling about the rest of this show.
So next up, we have Charlotte Flair versus the sorry.
Don't worry about it.
We have Charlotte Flair versus our women's champion, Bayley. It was a good match.
It was a good match. A very good match.
Charlotte looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Bayley looked fantastic. Couple little slow points in there, but there was nothing really to write home about. Now, I will talk about this.
Okay.
I know that you don't watch Raw, but or SmackDown for that matter, but have you seen?
Sorry, that's my ride.
Well, all right. Well, okay. Bye, Chris. Have you seen the Raw footage of Bayley coming out and destroying the wacky, waving, arm flailing Bayley buddies?
I did not. I read about it, and because after I watched the show, I went on Wikipedia because sometimes after pay-per-views, they usually will.
Mm-hmm.
They will put in the aftermath section, which they will detail after Raw and SmackDown have happened.
Yeah.
They'll go through and tell you, here's the basically the fallout of what happened at the pay-per-view.
Right.
And I read about that, and I was like, oh. I wish they'd gone with my idea of giving them angry eyes and like weapons.
See that? Yeah.
I wanted them to look meaner. Like, don't really change anything about her. She's still got a chipper attitude, but she's just doing bad things now.
Well, I thought that's what they were going to do. I thought it was going to be you probably do not remember this, but the fabulous Rougeau brothers.
Mm-hmm.
They were baby faces for a long time, and they kept pushing the fact that, hey, we're from Canada, eh? But we love America.
Yeah.
And
I remember reading about that. It was the Canadian passive aggressiveness of,
yes,
we love America, and here's all its terrible flaws.
And then they brought out little tiny American flags, and they would wave them, and it got so much heat.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, we love America. We're moving here. And,
Oh, God.
And it was great.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. And I thought that Bayley might take that road, which I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But alas, no. I still love what she's done.
Mm-hmm.
Let's back it up here to the match. This match goes on. Good match. Charlotte Flair becomes your 10-time women's wrestling, WWE champion. You can't say wrestling. But Bayley is left.
As long as it's not a butterfly belt, I'm good.
Yeah. Bayley is left out beside the apron.
Yeah, I love this image when they did it because it was, as you said, she's on the apron because after the figure 4, she rolls out clutching her knee. She's hurt bad,
Mm-hmm.
and she is morose. She's
Borderline pouting.
Mm-hmm. Trying not to cry.
Much like what they rumored happened with her and Sasha during WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I like is like we're playing into that, and I'm down with it. It's good.
And the image was even better because she was leaning against the ring, facing up the ramp, which means Charlotte had to step out that way to leave.
Yeah.
And she does, and she gets out and she looks down at Bayley,
Mm-hmm.
and then she gets up and walks away.
It was really good. It was the figure 4 looked great. They turned it into a figure 8,
Mm-hmm.
and it was fantastic. Good stuff. I gave it 3 Meltzers and new SmackDown Women's SmackDown Women's Champion.
Are you saying she is the tag team champions?
She could be. Those things are enormous. I mean, I'm just
The belts?
sure. She's big north of the border. Anyway,
Oh, you're saying they love her in Canada?
that's what I'm saying.
We're stalling because we know what's next.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this.
We have to. Lord knows everyone else has been.
Yeah. The internet was all a Twitter for this. Hell in the Cell, Universal title on the line. Seth Rollins versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt.
It was fine up until.
Yeah. Now let's not mince words here, and let's try to do this accurately.
Yeah.
Because this was not a bad match.
The finish was awful.
The finish was so bad that I forgot about the rest of the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. And I started screaming, this whole pay-per-view sucked, which it didn't.
No.
This has been a...
That shows you how bad a finish can ruin your thoughts on anything else about a show.
Absolutely. And this one...
Especially the last one, sorry.
No, it's okay. Now, all right. Well, let me try to do this.
Okay, we're here for you.
So we start things out.
Yeah.
It's a good match. It's a Hell in a Cell. It's what you want. There's chairs flying around. Yeah. There's all kinds of weapons. And the Fiend is no selling. Now, I have one issue.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't an issue to me, but I'm sure it was for the people that were watching there live in the arena. Mm-hmm. They kept the red light on.
They did. They did one of those things where, like previously when it was just Bray Wyatt, they would have camera effects and weird things happening live.
Right. Now, that's fine. If you want to keep it red, that's fine. You know, they did that with Sin Cara way back when. They kept it blue.
Yeah. Which honestly is worse for you than red light, but...
Yeah. But the problem is the cage is red.
Yeah, it is.
So,
very red.
And I've already expressed my opinion on how much I hate the damn red cage.
It didn't work in TNA either.
No, it didn't. And you made it look fake. And that's a word that I don't like tossing out. But damn it, why? Why did you make the cage red? And then you say, well, that's not good enough. Let's make it so where the people can't see the damn thing either. Okay, let's make all the lights red like Kane was coming out. So this match goes on, and fortunately at home we've got HD vision, so we can see this. So everything, we're enjoying it. The action's good.
It is, and like you said, the Fiend is no selling, but he's no selling. I will say it several times because we talked about it before starting. He no sells like a slasher villain, like Jason Voorhees, like
right.
Michael Myers. It's like he will take the hits and he'll stay down for a few minutes or for a few seconds, but then he's getting back up.
Yeah,
and they're at the point until it get to the point. They were doing it right. They were like. Seth Rollins was getting more and more desperate. He was unloading more and more onto him. More and more hits, and the Fiend was getting up quicker.
Yeah.
And it was.
And he is popping up fast, too. Yes. That's the thing. Every single time he pops up. It's not like a testament, an Undertaker raise up, right. And no, he's on his feet,
which is a testament to him taking those hits and then knowing to pop back up or being able to.
Right, because he's even though he's lost some weight, he's still a big boy.
He's hefty, and I know it's like reaction time can be brutal.
Yeah. Another thing that I didn't like is the fact that we bring out, he pulls out this oversized clown mallet.
Oh, the clown hammer, yeah. I had a feeling it was going this way.
Why do we have to do that? This is not Doink. We didn't need this. Not only that, it was clearly gimmicked.
It was. It reminded me of... Oh, it was during Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The table that Becky Lynch went through split so perfectly.
It did, didn't it?
I looked at that. It's like, it didn't like break and then break apart.
Yeah.
It split clearly down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, you over-gimmicked that.
Yeah, that's a score.
And the announcers, to their credit, tried to play up that this hammer was devastating. It was clearly light to carry.
Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead. We're going to talk about the announcers and this damn mallet here.
Okay. Well, Bray was doing his best to make it look like it had heft to it, but there were just some times you could just see him just swing it very easily.
Yeah. Also, it was clear this thing was gimmick. He could have bonked him on the head with this thing and he'd have been fine.
Right.
But he didn't. He decided to gimmick it and run him into the stomach.
Yeah.
To which Michael Cole said, he's stabbing him with the mallet. I'll say that again. He's stabbing him with the mallet. He's driving it into the intestines of Seth Rollins. This oversized cartoon mallet. Yeah.
Pretty sure when you slam a mallet into someone repeatedly, you're tenderizing meat. You're not stabbing.
Now, if you think, well, we can turn this around, Doggz, don't be such a negative Nelly. Well, you would be wrong. We did not turn this around. What I predicted was going to happen did happen, which proves my point. Neither Seth Rollins nor Bray Wyatt should have been put into this situation in the first place. God bless Seth. He's throwing everything he can at him. He did like 8 curb stomps on him. 8 to 11, 12. The number varies.
I think it's higher than that because there was, right before the end sequence, he did at least 5.
Yeah. Now, what did you say before we turned the mics on about this? In comparison to Lesnar.
Oh, okay. So if we're going to get into the finish now, see here I will tell you exactly what the problem is. I think with the finish. At some point, I don't know why the Fiend stopped getting up.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, if he wasn't he should have been still trying to get up.
Right. Well, we should start talking about the chairs too. We start piling chairs.
Yeah.
Is hitting him over and over and over after all these curb stomps, and
right.
He's just piling chairs on him. Then he gets a toolbox out and he throws the toolbox at him.
I like Seth's reactions to getting the toolbox. It's like, hey, this is not what I want, but I guess I'm using this.
Yeah.
That kind of look to it. So yeah, he downs the Fiend. Mm-hmm. And my problem starts he starts using he starts using chairs on him. Mm-hmm. He gets a ladder.
Yeah.
And a chair.
Yeah.
and it starts brutalizing him with those. My problem was the Fiend stopped moving.
Yeah.
He should have, even if you can't believe he'd just be getting right back up, he should be trying to move.
Yeah.
Like he's still unearthly.
Yeah.
But Bray stayed down.
Yeah.
And so this is where the crowd turned on this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I think they were a bit harsh, but I get it. Because
They were.
Because, admittedly, I get it. They want to see The Fiend do Fiend things.
Yeah.
That was the appeal. Seth Rollins was playing it right by getting increasingly desperate, like someone being chased by Voorhees or Michael Myers.
No one in this ring
Yeah.
did anything wrong.
No.
Well, let's make that very clear.
They were doing it right, but at this point, he stops struggling. He stops getting up.
Right.
And that's where it turns into, like I said, just one of those segments in Brock Lesnar's matches where he just gets like 5 or so minutes of uninterrupted offense to point out how strong he is and how he's just ragdolling them.
Right.
That's not Rollins' role in this match.
Yeah.
His role is desperate champion facing off this horror movie villain who was in the ring with him.
Right.
But that's not what we got. And the crowd was, to a degree, rightfully angry about it.
Yeah.
They were mad. And then something happened that I've never seen in a ring before. This undercover officer that was the referee, who had let everything go up to this point.
Well, before you get to that.
Okay, that's fine.
Go ahead. I think you're going to.
Before he gets to this point, after Seth is still desperate to make sure that the Fiend is done.
What's he grab?
He grabs a sledgehammer. And this is
Now, wait a minute. This is a comically oversized sledgehammer, right?
No, this is a normal one.
What?
There were like 3 to choose from down there too, by the way.
Oh.
This is after tellingly he has done a pedigree. Previously, he had done a pedigree to the Fiend as well, amidst his barrage. So he's going to finish it with a sledgehammer. He's just going to take that sledgehammer and drive. Now, this referee who stood by and let the oversized clown hammer happen.
All the chairs.
All the chairs. The ladder.
All the curb stomps. We can't call it the curb stomp. The stomps.
Curb stomps. I'm just... I refused.
The ladders. Okay. The toolbox. The tools.
This is when he feels the line has to be drawn and starts trying to talk Seth down.
On this sledgehammer
that
has been used for over 20 years in the WWE.
It is now a symbol of Triple H.
Yeah.
Of a sledgehammer, to the point where if he wrestles at all anymore, you can guarantee a sledgehammer's coming out.
Yeah.
This guy, this quote-unquote referee...
Yeah. He was fine with it, right?
He jumps in front of Seth. He goes, Seth, what are you doing? This isn't you. I heard that phrase.
He said the words.
This isn't you. You don't do this. He's trying to talk his hero, Seth Rollins, down. It's like that scene in Anchorman where Chris Parnell's character gets upset with Ron Burgundy for cursing on air. He's poop mouth. He's crying. This is, And Seth, and meanwhile the crowd is hating this.
Seth, if I take some money out of my wallet and give it to you, will that change your mind?
He was almost at that point. He was almost about to hand him a water and just have him sit down and then just, cool out for a second. Seth looks like he's gonna back down. And then,
Seth, you're not the same. I miss you. I miss being around you.
I felt like the camera couldn't turn around and show the ref because I figured he'd be crying and snot would be dribbling out of his nose.
I miss your musk. When this match is over, I think we should get an apartment together.
What would Becky think? He just jumps like to Becky and hit him, hit the fucker.
Why didn't that happen?
I don't know. Should have.
Why didn't he hit him with a chair, throw him out of the ring, throw him into the cage, hit him with a sledgehammer? Why didn't that happen?
Well, I don't know because Seth started.
This isn't you.
It's not him. Seth started to back down, and then he's like, fuck it, and just slams the sledgehammer onto it, and the ref stops the match. Stops
the match.
Stopped a Hell in a Cell.
This was not a disqualification as people, earlier claimed, this was a no contest.
Well, even more specifically, as I said, I looked on Wikipedia, it's a ref stoppage. They didn't even label it a no contest because a no contest would have been better.
Right.
A no contest would have implied something is out of control and you can't be, can't be corralled, which is the point of a Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
If go into any fucking WWE game, pick the Hell in the Cell, and look at the match rules. You can't even turn on DQ.
Yeah.
You only win. The whole point of a Hell in a Cell is cage match on steroids, fitting, and you are not supposed to be able to lose any other way.
No.
But pinfall or submission.
That's it.
And the problem is they put all the wrong elements into this match.
Yeah.
The Fiend is a new thing that they are trying to push and make a big monster character. So you don't want him to lose.
No.
You've got Seth, who's doing really well as champion.
Yeah.
He's not ready to give up the title.
Right.
It's not time to shift it. You don't want to have the Fiend to have the title yet because it's too early. So you do not put them in a match where you're supposed to have a definitive winner and a definitive loser.
Go, Barnes. Go.
You're not supposed to do it. How do you fuck this up?
Go, Barnes. I love it when he gets mad. Go, baby.
How? That's the entire point. I mean, it's gotten to the point where cage matches by themselves can be fucked with.
Yes.
And they are repeatedly.
Yes.
But the Hell in the Cell is supposed to be, as demonstrated earlier by Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, a definitive winner, definitive loser.
That's it. That's
You're
it.
not supposed to be able to escape anymore after Foley and Undertaker.
Right.
after they dropped the idea, I think after that match, they were like, no more chain link Hell in the Cells.
Right. The only way that you're supposed to handle a Hell in a Cell match by getting out of the cage is if you have some unknown force on the outside of the cage, and it's got to be a big deal, like say Vince McMahon is coming down with a flatbed and ties a chain around the wall of the cell and yanks it down. That's the only way that this should happen. And the biggest problem here is the crowd's mad, and they should be. I'm sure that Seth and Bray were upset about the reaction, and they should be. The problem is neither Seth nor Rollins nor that Hell in a Cell crowd should have been put in that situation to begin with.
100%.
As it, Bray Wyatt was not ready to. Well, the Fiend is not ready for a title. I was talking to a dear friend of mine who just happens to be back on the airwaves. The podcast is back.
Their new episode just came out this week. Check it out.
Yes. And I was talking to him about this, and you know what? It just fell out of my head. Everything that I was going to say is gone.
Well, I while you're trying to remember it, I will point this out. Bray wasn't hurt. He was explicitly just staying down.
Right.
Because he got up after the match, hooked in the mandible claw, and burst a squib in Rollins' mouth.
Yeah. That's something else. You saw Seth Rollins spit the blood capsule out of his mouth.
I missed that part. I did not see that. Oh my God.
They don't even care anymore.
No,
I mean,
they've had a weird history of them catching stuff on camera they shouldn't, and then just not even like bothering to hide.
I mean, and out of all this other garbage that's happened, I'll give that a pass because, well, it's all the lights are off and it's red. You won't see it. And decent point.
Not like plastic reflects light or anything.
It's covered in blood. It's fine.
It's fine.
No, it wasn't.
No. And I told you before the podcast started, I was like, there was a simple way to do this. There was a simple way to turn this into a no contest. You know, honestly, it would have been the only acceptable time to me to break the convention. You know, you're not supposed to be able to get out of the Hell in a Cell, but somehow they're fighting hard enough. The Fiend breaks Rollins through and just takes him up in the ramp or into the crowd, and he's fighting. They're just beating. They're fighting on each other. The Fiend is getting the better of it. They're just beating him up and down, all across. They cannot hope to get them back in the ring. No contest.
Yeah,
something like that.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, "Hey, Doggz, what about last year at Hell in a Cell with Reigns and Lesnar?" And that was also a no DQ or a no contest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right, and that sucked too. Yeah. I don't have any thoughts about that. The past is the past. I'm moving on. Problem is,
stop fucking up Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, thank you. Just
if you're okay, there were only 2 Hell in a Cell matches on this card. If you weren't ready to have a definitive winner in a match, whether it was Reigns and Lesnar or this one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Last year was when Strowman broke open the cell, wasn't it? He came down to try and...
Yes, that was it.
Inserted himself in the match. If you're not ready to have a clear winner in a Hell in a Cell, don't make it a Hell in a Cell match.
Right.
Make a different one a Hell in a Cell match.
Number one, he should never have been put anywhere close to Seth Rollins as long as he's got that Universal title. Because, and I remember what I was going to say. I was talking to Jason Finger.
Oh, yeah.
Earlier this week, and he said something that I've been saying for years. I've said it about Strowman. I've said it about George Steele. I've said it about Andre the Giant. Mm-hmm. The Fiend is a great character.
Yes.
It's so good that it doesn't need a belt. It's actually
I know I said that about
gonna
Strowman.
destroy him.
I know I've said that about Strowman specifically. He's in the Andre class where it's like giving him a belt ruins the belt and ruins him.
Yeah.
Because if he gets the belt, it's only a matter of time before he has to lose the belt.
Right. And who's...
Yeah.
It's honestly, have we learned nothing from Brock Lesnar?
No. Brock Lesnar's learned nothing from Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar is a monster. When he came, he was destroying people. Mm-hmm. When Brock Lesnar lost that belt for the first time way back when, you say, you guys, you may not remember this, everybody was screaming bullshit.
Yeah.
Everyone. And now, and then you wonder why we have Brock just coming in and doing a few Germans and a few F5s and calling it a day. That's the road that we've led ourselves to, and it's the fault of our soap opera writers who have never watched wrestling before a day in their freaking life.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to back this down a little bit. I am getting a little angry. Number one, Bray Wyatt does not need a belt, period. Number one, he's a former world champion anyway. Right there. That's it.
Absolutely.
Keep it like that. Now we got the Fiend. That's beautiful. It's great. Don't put a belt on this. But no, we're going to push him forward, which I believe I said this about 3 podcasts ago. I have a fear that they are going to try to push him too fast.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And they sure as hell did.
But think of it this way. In regards to the Fiend, personally, despite the fact that I love him start to finish, I also would not have, and they never did. They never put the world title on Mankind as he was when he started.
Right.
The reason is, like, by the time Mankind got the belt, he was basically Mick Foley.
Yeah.
And it was a deserved win. It was a wonderful win. Mm-hmm. And the character had evolved so much that it made sense.
Yeah.
But the first one, the one who was meant to be a terror, just a pure thing to terrorize the WWF,
never won a belt. Never. It was.
Well, he was tag team.
But even then, he was. he was still Mrs. Foley's little boy.
Yeah, he had evolved to a point. Yeah, even if he was a heel.
And and that speaks a lot to. And think about Mick Foley. Mick Foley, who is a terrible wrestler. Look, I love the guy. Let's be honest. He's terrible.
He's one of the blatant cases where injury forced him to adopt a softer style than what he started with.
Yeah.
He basically beat himself into that position.
Yeah. And he's not going to win any beauty pageants. So we don't have a title for him, and it's perfect. And he didn't win a title until he actually manifested to the Faces of Foley, and we have Mankind, we have Mick Foley, we have Dude Love, and we have Cactus Jack, and then you can put a belt on all four of them if you want. It's great. And that's where we're at, guys. This is a -1 Meltzer for me.
Yeah.
And no exaggeration. I wrote it down, -1.
Oh, you know what we forgot to mention?
What's that?
The 24/7 title was on the line that night.
Oh my God, I completely forgot. That happened during
the Street Profits segment, yeah.
That was what was it? It was Bailey versus Charlotte.
That was the
no, it wasn't. It was the Kabuki Warriors versus Bliss Cross Applesauce.
Was it before or after? I think it was after.
I think it was just before the match started.
Okay, yeah. During Street Profits had a segment, and Tamina surprised. Was it R-Truth? Who had it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Surprised R-Truth and rolled him up for a win.
Yeah.
And then it culminated. I loved it, and it culminated right before Bailey versus Charlotte, because they had just done the international announcers introductions.
And then Tamina walks out there looking terribly confused about, how did I get out here? I was going to the can. And just looking around,
and R-Truth and Big Carmella tracked her down. And in order to keep R-Truth and them away from her, she takes Funaki hostage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and see, now a lot of people call bullshit on this, and I loved it. I'm sorry,
right.
This was funny because I love Funaki and everything that he stands for. Mm-hmm. So yeah, holds Funaki hostage. And Funaki gets away from him, and R-Truth does the crane, the crane stance. Well, indeed, Funaki is not to be outdone, so he gets in a stance of his own and backs.
R-Truth immediately is like, no, I don't want to fight. And bows to it.
He bows to him and runs away.
No. Well, that distracts Tamina enough for Carmella to get her.
That's what it was, yeah.
And then she's like, pin her. and then R-Truth is now, I think Michael Cole said, the 20-time 24/7 champion?
Something like that.
No, he said he had to check notes. I think he was checking Wikipedia. That was a bright spot in the show.
Yeah, that was.
Before it completely went down the tubes.
Overall, and as I said before, and I believe we're in agreement on this, this was not in fact, this was a good pay-per-view.
It was.
It's just that the ending was so
that bad.
It
was that bad.
That everybody seemed to forget about the rest of the actual goodness that did happen.
The WWE literally made them see red.
Yeah. Poetic.
Is it?
No.
That's fair.
Overall, I gave this whole pay-per-view a 1.5 Meltzer. Reason being, even though I just said the rest, most of the matches were really good. In it's again, the bad stuff was so bad that it overshadowed everything else.
It's it's like taking an exam and the essay question is worth most of the points.
Right.
And you bomb it. Well, no, you do okay, but then your conclusion pretty much ruins the entire essay.
Yeah.
That's like, I can't.
It exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if I had, what would you say? Well, first of all, before we do our horse trailer,
Okay.
let's go back to the fashion plate himself. Who was your best dressed tonight?
Best dressed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, as much as I say Baron Corbin is improved, he's not. He's not the best dressed. Hold on, I'm figuring this out.
Now I'll tell you, mine's pretty easy.
Yeah.
My best dressed, I have to go with the Fiend on this one.
Okay. I get that.
It's perfect. Yeah, the whole gimmick itself just is amazing.
I would say he and the Viking Raiders really stood out.
There you go.
Because they've got gimmicks and they're going for it.
Right.
A lot of problems I have with the way some wrestlers dress is just like there's no real gimmick. It's just personality.
Yeah.
The clothes are fine, but there's nothing really that is like, whoa, what's that?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Ali. Yeah,
No Mustafa anymore.
I don't know why.
I almost called him Mufasa.
But I mean, Ali comes out with the big, light up suit, clothing. It's like that's neat, but
yeah, but yeah, it's not. It's fun for the kids, but
Sure.
That's about it. Who's your worst dressed?
Baron Corbin. No,
go ahead.
I'm going to say Baron Corbin because while I said he's improved, it's still terrible. He still looks like he stripped off the bartender top to reveal a black tank top, and you're right, he's wearing a cape and crown now because he's King of the Ring.
Right. Yeah, I too went with Baron Corbin on this one.
He looks like he half-assed a costume for a costume party.
It looks like he was taking his kids out trick-or-treating, and they said, well, Dad, you've got to put something on. And he's like,
or he's drunk at a party in New Orleans, and they crowned him king of the party.
There it is. Yeah. And he's just here. He's like, hey, show me your boobs. And
I declare you must show me your boobs.
Do it, shorty. So, this is going to bring us to our top tens.
Yes. Yours specifically.
Mine specifically. Now, hey, you guys, I'm going to address this. The last time, you guys were giving me the business about my top tens last time.
I know it's based on hard math.
It is based on hard math. I have taken a system that was formulated by the excellence of execution himself, Bret Hart. That's a shoot.
Okay.
And then I took the win-loss record, and and then you sprinkle in some stipulations. You plus or minus points.
Yeah.
For whatever steps will go in there, and there you have your rankings. So, having said that, let's start with the overall tag teams. This consists of AEW and WWE.
Okay.
We have number 10 coming in fresh on the board, SoCal Uncensored. One of my favorite tag teams. Number 9 is going to be the Boss and Hug Connection. Number 8, our newly crowned champions, the Kabuki Warriors. Number 7 is going to be Bliss Cross Applesauce, the team of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Number 6 is going to be the Lucha Brothers, which if you guys have never seen them, I would advise you to go watch AEW. Yeah. They are fantastic.
Absolutely. They should lean into it and have Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss get a pet of some kind and name it Applesauce.
Right. And and then we can have them doing double Dutch later on. If we're gonna do this thing, let's just do it. So we've got number 5 here, Revival. That's again your Raw champions.
Yes.
The team of Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, who just recently lost their titles.
Rudler.
Rudler.
Rudel me this.
Which I imagine the team of Ziggler and Roode's going to be defunct since they lost their titles.
Yes, so.
I imagine they were just transitional champions to try to get to where they were going.
Who won them, by the way?
I believe it was the Revival.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, wait. Ah, Christ, it doesn't matter. WWE sucks.
I thought you were going to say, what week is this?
Yeah. Oh, it's the newly crowned Raw Tag Team Champions are the Viking Raiders.
Nice.
Because they won Monday night. Yeah. And congratulations.
Oh, hell yeah.
To Eric and Ivar. Number 3, we still have the New Day as number 3. They're holding strong. Number 2 is still the Young Bucks, and seemingly immovable from the number 1 spot, the Usos. Oddly, we have not seen them compete in about 4 months, but for some reason, they're still holding on to that number 1.
Well, it might be the win-loss factor. Sure, their wins aren't going up, but their losses aren't going up either.
That's what I was thinking. Moving on to the overall men's. Number 10, we have Shinsuke Nakamura. Number 9, strangely enough, we have the Fiend Bray Wyatt, even after that catastrophe that happened.
And catastrophe is a good word.
Number 8, oddly enough, is Baron Corbin.
Boo.
He came in our last month at number 10 and is now moved down to number 8.
I guess it's good to be the king.
Yeah. Number 7 is Ricochet. Number 5, getting these hands. That's something else I wanted to we'll talk about that in a minute. Braun Strowman.
Uh-huh.
Did you hear Booker? No, I guess you didn't because you don't watch Raw.
You make it sound like a choice. I just don't have the ability to.
I know. Well, you gotta get on this thing, man.
No,
God damn it.
I need money.
Well, I need the pay-per-views to start showing up every once in a while, but they're not doing that. So anyway, sorry. So they're doing the draft.
Yes.
For Raw and SmackDown, and they you know how they do on the pay-per-view, they bring you to the outside commentators. Usually it's Dave Otunga, Renee Young,
yes,
and Booker T. Well, they were doing the same thing.
Fro guy, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, not Sam. I can't remember what his name is.
No.
I just know his podcast. Well, Booker T's over there, and they're talking about the drafts, and they're trying to make it just as big of a shoot as they possibly can. And they said, "I'll tell you what, the USA Network against the Fox Network, they're doing all right. It's like they just got Braun Strowman out there doing his thing, getting his money, getting his hands, and but now the way he said it so fast." I implore you to Google this, YouTube it, and watch it, because it sounds like he said, "You got Braun Strowman out there getting all that money, getting his head," and
Wow.
And I had to stop it, and I rewound it, because there is no way he said what I think he said, and I rewound it several times and laughed every time. It sounds very much like Braun Strowman out there getting his head. And
there is a reason Botchamania would highlight Booker T commentary every once in a while.
It's still funny. Anyway, sorry. So coming in at number 3, we have your AEW heavyweight champion, Chris Jericho, who just revealed the Inner Circle last week.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Good stuff. Very excited. Can't wait to watch it tonight.
Who's in the Inner Circle?
LAX.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Number 2 is Kofi Kingston. And still burning it down, Seth Rollins, your number 1 spot. Again, seemingly immovable. Now, bringing up the rear here, we have our women superstars. Actually, since we're crossing over, we can actually call them wrestlers now. So that's not a dig on ladies. That's a dig on WWE. Number 10, weird, we have Kairi Sane. Mm-hmm. Not Asuka, just Kairi Sane is there. Number 9 is Nikki Cross. Number 8, I have no idea how Natalya showed up there, but she did.
Because she's winning, Doggz.
Yeah, she's beating Lacey Evans.
Also, I'm sure since you're using Bret Hart's method, Harts get an extra bonus at some point.
Oh, they always do. And so when one Hart shows up, they all show up. Because oddly enough, Bret Hart is number 6. No, I'm kidding. No.
Not what it says. It says Bret Hart in a wig.
Number 7, Asuka. Number 6, we have Sasha. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting off here. Number 6 is Sasha Banks. Number 5 is the goddess herself, Alexa Bliss. Number 4 is your newly crowned AEW Women's Champion, Riho. Not a fan of hers. That was the only match that I did not like on that opening. And it wasn't that I didn't like the match. I didn't like the finish.
Yeah.
I thought Nyla Rose should have been women's champion, period. But we'll get into that. Number 3 is the queen herself, Charlotte Flair. Number 2 is our newly reformed Bayley. And number 1, the man, Becky Lynch. And this concludes our top 10 list. What about our horse trailer for Hell in a Cell? And this one takes some thinking, and I'm gonna vamp while you're thinking, because I know this is a tough decision, because the only thing, when you start to think about it, the only thing that comes back in your mind is just that red cage, the red lighting,
and the red rage,
and exactly. And it's hard to picture anybody else carrying this thing on their back. I've got one, but no, I'm running this gig, so I planned this thing out like last week sometime. So I've got mine.
Go for it.
What say? Okay, you want me to go ahead?
I'll let you go for you.
All right. And again, I do not say this lightly. Mm-hmm. 2 shows in a row, Chris, my horse trailer is Roman Reigns. 2 in a row.
You look a little uncomfortable.
I don't like that I said that, but damn it, 2 shows have gone by and he looks fantastic. Mm-hmm. Now, Jesus, Vince, don't put a belt on him, for the love of God. Please, just because I like something, please don't ruin it. I mean, because this is hard for me, okay? It's hard for me to admit that I like Roman Reigns now.
It was like Bayley did at the end of her match.
Look, it's like I'm in confessional. I'm coming out of the closet about Roman Reigns.
Well, there's no absolution here, my son.
I do. The last few times that I've seen him, he looks fantastic. He's moving, and a big part of this is because he's been in He's been in tag team matches.
Yeah.
He's been in 3-ways, and it's masking his.
He works best as an ensemble.
Yeah, it's masking his hindrances.
Because as was demonstrated in the main event, it's okay. It's like I was fine with Seth Rollins curb stomping like 7 times in a row because
Just
it was
stomping.
Like, sorry, he was stomping near a curb. I was fine with that because when he's
the curb was what the writers jumped when they wrote this thing down. I'm sorry.
I don't want to interrupt your flow or anything.
I apologize. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. Please continue.
I just wanted you to dig as deep a hole as you wanted. I was fine with that because, you know, as in that match and in others, it's like that's not his entire repertoire.
No.
That was him being desperate and being like, you know, I got to do what I can to keep him down.
Yeah.
As opposed to Roman, who when he's in extended single matches, that is his set.
Yeah.
He's got like 3 to 4, not even 5, 3 to 4 moves that he will repeat.
Mm-hmm. Saw a great T-shirt the other day.
Yeah.
That said, spear, pin, kick out, repeat. And it was an old shirt, but I was like, that's beautiful. I love that. Sorry.
But no. That's the thing. Is like when he's in tag matches, those spots, since they're only coming every so often, even if they are repeated, they're perfectly fine.
Right.
It's perfect for a tag match or they didn't have a tornado tag, but the any sort of tag match or multiple person match he's in.
Yeah. So who do you have for your horse trailer?
Oh, I'm gonna one up you. It was that entire tag match for me.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That thing. I mean, the other there were other great matches on the card. Mm-hmm. That one, start to finish, was a wild ride that I loved.
Yeah. If I had to pick a second one, it would have to be the Viking Raiders.
Oh yeah.
That would that would have to be, just because they tore it down and they stacked that thing perfectly for the next match. It was just
plus, given who was in that match, they had to work harder to be standouts.
Absolutely. And it wasn't like they upstaged anybody or anything. They just did what they do, and it was perfect.
They rated.
Yeah.
Vikings.
Like Vikings, Amy. Vikings.
It's okay. He's not holding it a grudge. He's not mad. He loves you.
Well.
All right, it's awkward now.
Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for us here at This Is a Work. I want to give a couple of shout-outs to our good friends up in Lincolnton, the podcast. They recently had their comeback. They're also with USA Main Event Wrestling. They're doing commentary for them.
Really? Awesome.
Which I don't mind telling you, I'm a little bit jealous. It's commentary is been one of the things that I've always wanted to do, that I've always thought I'd be really good at, and they're getting to do it. The opportunity approached them, and they took it, and they've seized it, and it looks like they're coming back to do it again. It's going to be a regular thing, and I tip my cap to the guys at USA Main Event Wrestling. You got a couple of good ones there. So keep on keeping on. And I can't wait to listen to the podcast weekly again.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Oh, that reminds me, I wanted to give a shout out to one of the new commentators on Raw, Dio Madden.
Yeah, he hasn't said a lot.
I don't think they gave him an opportunity yet.
Right.
But I like him especially because I was aware of him before he hit WWE.
Is that a fact?
Yeah. Thanks to a podcast and YouTube channel I listened to, they were they're big gamers, and they're friends with Dio Madden, whose real name is Brendan Williams. And Brendan Williams, I think I don't know if it was still during his football career or post it, but he was a big gamer too, so they knew and they would collaborate with him from time to time.
Right on.
And they were how I found out he also moved into WWE at some point through NXT, and then eventually became Dio Madden.
That's all right.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. And from what I had heard of him previously, and hearing him call the pay-per-view for the Raw matches was great.
Yeah, and and he, like I said, I haven't heard a ton out of him. That this goes back to a critique that I've always, not always, but here past 10 years have had. I wish we only had 2 commentaries. That's all we really need.
Yeah.
All we really need is a play-by-play and a color man. And it'd be nice if one of them was a heel, but it doesn't have to be. You can get it done with 2 faces.
Or at the very least, he's a guy. Well, I mean, they I guess they try to straddle this line, but they don't. It's just too sports commentator dry for me. Or it's just
Right.
where it's like they'll explain like why what the heel is doing is smart.
Yeah.
It's like do it more.
Speaking of how much time we got left?
We're at about an hour and 25.
Okay, well, we've got a few minutes. I want to bring this up while we're talking about the awfulness that is WWE. I told you they're doing the draft. Can someone out there in True Believer land answer this one? Why do we have the Fox football robot in the war room for Fox during a WWE draft?
I guess because they have access to those graphics now.
No, this is a dude dressed up as a robot, bruh.
Oh.
This is not even a graphic. It's just he's high-fiving people.
Oh,
And the robot gets upset when they don't get the drafts that they want.
So he's the dumbest cross promotion. Got it.
Which I didn't know that robots could feel emotion.
Well, technically, I think those are usually called androids.
Yeah.
And those just cause all their own kind of problems.
Which that's why I say kill this thing immediately. Because it already knows how to play football.
Considering it's a guy in a costume, someone's doing something to it. It's gonna happen. They wouldn't bother introducing it in a costume.
Now on the Raw side, they don't have any robots or anything, but they do have a guy with makeup just smeared all over him, like a cheap version of Matt Hardy. It could be Matt Hardy for all I know.
Jeff Hardy?
No, I'm sorry, Jeff Hardy. Yeah. It actually has Matt Hardy's hair, but Jeff Hardy's makeup. And he's just there, high-fiving people when they get somebody good.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to see a picture of this.
It's real. It's taken. Look, I like it when wrestling does comedy.
Is he representing like the drama match since USA is like characters welcome?
I don't know. All I know is he's been there for 2 weeks, and he's just like, we wanted the Braun Strowman, and then
I just want someone to point to him and go, "Do we know what's going on with this?"
and that's something else. Troy Aikman was. Oh yeah, we're going there.
I'm not upset. I'm just confused. Continue.
Yeah, but we all are. They were interviewing Troy Aikman during the draft for SmackDown.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
WWE wrestling.
Okay.
Troy Aikman
Right.
draft. Yeah.
Right.
And
Still computing. All right.
Just wait. He was asked when you. I can't even get this out. When you were playing football,
Here we go.
What was your finishing maneuver?
I'm sorry, what the fuck? Which I feel like should have been Troy Aikman's reaction.
No, he was Johnny on the spot. He said, without missing a beat, the pile driver.
That's factually incorrect.
You were a quarterback.
I know.
You don't even.
I know.
There's so many things wrong with what you just
I know
said.
football players get hit in the head a lot. It's tragic.
Tell the truth.
But it's factually incorrect.
The pile driver. Number one, somebody asked Troy Aikman that question.
Unironically.
Yeah.
They meant it.
They meant what they said, and they said what they meant.
His answer should have been the touchdown pass.
Yeah. But no, without blinking, he said, the pile driver. Yep.
No.
And
You've been playing too much NFL Blitz.
I understand that we're going off the rails here and they don't really care what they're doing anymore. But damn, I mean,
That's some 80s bullshit right there.
that is. I mean, not only that, we also have the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. That's
I did see clips of that. Yeah.
the linear heavyweight world champion, whatever that means.
Boxing, right?
Okay. That's what they're calling him. They're calling him the linear. Where I don't know what you mean by that. It's kind of like this is the first time we've ever had WWE women's tag team champions. I think that's what we're going for there. But yeah, he's going up against Strowman in our upcoming pay-per-view for Crown Jewel. And he got to show off a little last week by throwing air punches at security, missing by at least 1.5 feet. And security was just flying, just selling it like Christ died for it.
We don't understand the force of his punches are so strong. It's like Superman. If he doesn't pull it.
Speaking of Superman,
Oh Jesus!
the Swedish Superman Cesaro also did the job to Tyson Fury in a dark match. Again, one of those knockout thunder punches that missed by a mile, and Cesaro just crumbled. That's because Vince felt the need to bury somebody that night. So that's happening.
All right. Can't stop it. Not gonna watch it. All right.
Yeah. So we got AEW tonight. Also, we have the new NWA Power. I say because it has 3 R's on it.
Well, that's dumb.
It is, but it's really good, and it's on YouTube, and you can watch it anytime you want to.
Nice.
It comes on, I believe, on Tuesdays at 6:05, which I love that. So there, I said all that to say this, guys. Even though that was a terrible, terrible pay-per-view, the
ending was unsatisfying.
The ending was awful. There are some really exciting things happening in wrestling right now. It's not just WWE. We have AEW that's looking great. We have NWA. There's also Master P's has a wrestling federation in New York now, and it's called it's called like Pride of Honor or I can't remember. Whatever it's honor or glory or something like that. That's what it is. Anyway, the acronym is HOG. Yeah. So there you go.
So it's his prize hog, is it?
It's his prize hog.
Well, hopefully he does a better job with that than he did in WCW.
And he has been quoted this week as saying, hey, if CM Punk doesn't want to go back to WWE, I can make him a real superstar. So there's
right.
Vince better watch out.
Well, he's got Vince's level of hubris, that's for sure.
Yeah. Make him say, nah. Well, I think that's going to do it for us this week. You got anything else?
No, I think that's enough.
Well, guys, our next pay-per-view coming up, I believe, is going to be Crown Jewel. So that's going to be hilarious. We're just going to have fun with that. We're not even trying to take that seriously. But that's coming up. Guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank you in advance for liking, subscribing, and sharing, giving us a 5-star review, and telling a friend about us. And let's keep the good news rolling.
Because by pressing play, you agreed to do that.
That's right.
We got you.
So, for the absent David Hensley and Chris, the Fashion Plate Barnes, this is David Two Dogs Hayes saying, guys, you got out of bed this morning and you had a job to go to and someone that cares about you when you get home, folks, this match is over and you just won via pinfall. Thank you very much for listening to This Is a Work.